Hello and welcome to Mindful Living, where we explore the art of living with the intention, balance, and inner peace. I am Avik, your host, guiding you through conversations on health, meditation, mental well being, mindfulness, and the mind body connection. Each episode features expert insights to help you grow, heal, and thrive. So, take a deep breath, relax, and join us on this journey to a more mindful and fulfilling life. So, let's get started.
Hello and welcome, listeners, to the Mindful Living podcast, where we explore how mindfulness practices can transform every aspect of our lives, professionally, personally, and creatively. Today, we are thrilled to have Emanuel Rose, a marketing expert and visionary who is also deeply connected to the power of nature. Emmanuel is the CEO of Strategic E-Marketing with over 30 years of experience in branding, lead generation, and digital marketing. He's pioneered some of the most innovative strategies in the field. But beyond his business acumen, listeners, Emmanuel is also the author of The Seven Principles of the Magic Rock, where he reveals how time spent in nature can profoundly impact your mental health, leadership skills, and creativity. And in today's episode, we'll explore how solitude in nature anchors us, fuels creativity, and strengthens our leadership abilities. So, Emmanuel, welcome to the show, and it's an absolute honor having you with us today.
Thank you, Sana. I'm grateful to share this time with you today.
You have written about how solitude in nature can anchor mental health. So, can you share your personal journey of discovering this beautiful connection and how it has shaped both your personal life and career?
Yeah, I was lucky enough to be born into a family that was very outdoor oriented here in the United States and in California, and spent a lot of time in in and around the Yosemite National Park,
Mm-hmm.
um, and so from that experience as a kid of being outside and being comfortable out in the wilderness, and I've taken that and have become, I'm a backpacker, and I spend time camping and fishing and hunting, um, and as I was researching a book about marketing to Generation Z, I realized there's a mental health problem that's brewing from people's disconnection from nature, from themselves, and the addiction to screen and social media.
Uh-huh.
And and that's when I realized, and thinking back in my childhood, I'd always see my papu, my grandfather, sitting on a rock when we'd go fly fishing together. And there was a certain stretch of river, he would stop, and no matter what was going on, and he would spend some time, 20, 30, 40 minutes, just sitting there watching the river. And then that is where I came up with this idea of the principles of the magic rock, and integrating mindfulness activities in my daily practice,
Mm-hmm.
uh, and then purposefully taking time away from the screens on a daily basis, and then commitment to being outside by myself every month, for a week every month.
Wow, that's really great. And your book, it emphasizes how time in nature can improve leadership skills, um, self introspection or reflection, having cultivating that mindfulness, enjoying every bit of nature. How has immersing yourself in nature, Emmanuel, influenced your leadership style?
Mhm.
And what specific qualities do you think it enhances in leaders?
Well, I'm just back from a 7-day trip on the river, and in that time, in my time by myself, I can put certain time to thinking about my business, certain time to thinking about my relationship with my family, and so coming back, I tend to be much more compassionate and grounded and able to have high levels of emotional intelligence that sometimes in the uh, the heat of the moment or in stressful times are not available as readily. Um, and so it's really around the values clarification and getting out of what I call the wash of business, the wash of life, the wash of culture, and allows us to think about, who those people are that are on our team, who we haven't connected with recently that we would like to connect with, uh, how we can mentor people on our team and think through things in an unhurried and deeper way.
Hmm. So many people commonly we see nature as a place for relaxation, but you talk about it as a place to unleash creativity. So, can you highlight or explain how time spent in the wilderness has helped you tap into deeper creativity, both as a business leader and as a writer?
Yeah, the inspiration for my first children's book was after a long day of hiking and
Mm-hmm.
sitting next to the river and in a quasi meditative state and
Mm-hmm.
uh, I saw a red-tailed hawk buzzing around. I heard the river in the background, and then was just like a flash of, and then I need to write this book called, Wanaha Henry, which was the Wanaha River I was sitting next to, and Henry's my grandson, and there was a red-tailed hawk, and all those things came together just from that in that moment of sitting there next to the river. And then, since then, I've written 6 picture books and 3 chapter books for children, all based on nature themes and both for my grandchildren and for other people who want to help to teach their children about the natural world.
Hmm. That's very, very enriching. And you are running a successful digital marketing agency. It requires constant hustle as well as kind of quite opposite, or maybe different because you are accessing a lot of screen time there also into the world of social media or the entire digital marketing. So, how do you balance the demands of a fast paced business world with the need for solitude and quiet time in nature?
I make sure that I spend time, every hour and a half, get up, walk around, make a tea, go outside, listen to the wind, put on the rain jacket if it's raining, but to prioritize that a number of times through the day and then give the eyes a rest and the spirit a chance to open up again.
Mhm.
Um, and then turn it off, at 4 o'clock, go for a walk, uh, make a meal, spend time with family, and really work to shut it down. And so that there's a work time, there's a screen time, and integrating breaks in throughout the day, and then just being done with it at a certain time every day.
Mhm. And have you used nature or outdoor activities as a tool for team building or to inspire your employees? And if so, how did that experience impact team dynamics and productivity?
Yeah, there's some classic ways that we have. There's the ropes course, that team building process. I've been through that a lot with lots of different teams, and where you're actually doing purposeful values clarification and team building.
Uh-huh.
And then we've done trips where it's a day hike trip or even a backpacking trip and do some training outside and then giving people time to sit and write poetry or journal or just to hang out. And that um, the combination of physical activity and meal preparation and sharing meals outside like that are very bonding and create great connection between people for a long time.
Yes, that is very true. And if a leader wanted to start incorporating solitude in nature as a part of their leadership practice, what steps would you recommend for developing that habit in a meaningful way?
I think developing a simple meditation practice, simple daily meditation practice, 15 minutes in the morning before the world starts spinning, right after you wake up. And that's a starting point. That's the cornerstone. Um, and that meditation practice then is carried over into all aspects of a person's life. I believe, and I have experienced,
Mhm.
and then it creates an anchor point, both in the daily life, but then also when you're outside and sitting on a park bench next to the creek, or if you take a drive to get outside of town where you have some solitude, more a more remote type of solitude,
Mhm.
and then bring that meditation uh, practice with you to that spot. And it doesn't have to be big amounts of time to get the value from that. It's 15 to 30 minutes is a valuable amount of time to sit and work on that practice and think about what needs to happen that day, that week, that month, that year, and think about how you want to be in the world.
Mhm. True, that's true. And what advice would you give to leaders or entrepreneurs who are struggling with mental clarity or burnout? It's obviously, a lot of leaders they do face this issue. And how can connecting with nature help them regain focus and build resilience?
Well, it's kind of it's counterintuitive to think that in some ways that the disconnecting from the conversations and the problems
Mhm.
and those worries, and going internal, um, are is really the best way to counter burnout and come up with new solutions. But that's really the reality of it is to it gives you a chance to uh, this time alone, this time in meditation, this time in nature. It refills you. It refills me. It refills a person, and with the vital energy that
Mhm.
can provide this kind of outside the box thinking that is and a resiliency that
Mhm.
you're not really able to find by just minding your way through it.
Hmm. Okay, and Emmanuel, your book, The Seven Principles of the Magic Rock, what key takeaways would you like for the readers to take from your book and how they can access it?
The biggest takeaway is that even time on your porch in a chair, not talking to anybody, just watching a leaf blow in the wind or the trees
Mhm.
around your house, just that simple act of separating um, on your front porch
Mhm.
is as valuable as process and practice as you can start to build, and then uh, to continue to deepen the amount of time and the focus that you have in in that practice of separation and value clarification.
Hmm. That's lovely. And how we can access your book?
You can find it at emmanuelrose.com, or you can go to Amazon and get it there.
Lovely, lovely. Well, Emmanuel, thank you so much for getting us familiarized with how nature, wilderness can help in connecting with ourselves better and becoming better leaders, better entrepreneurs, and sharing your wisdom on how solitude in nature can truly anchor our mental health, unlock creativity, and also enhance our leadership. So, your insights they help us understand the power that natural world holds even in our fast-paced digital lives. So, before we wrap up, you know, any final message or advice you would like to give to all our listeners?
Well, thank you so much for having me on this talk with you, Sana. I appreciate that, and I would just like to encourage everybody, anybody who's listening, to take a few minutes in the morning and count your breaths and get prepared that way rather than in the rushing, hurried way of of the jumping into the chaos.
Mhm. Great, lovely. And listeners, if you want to dive deeper into Emmanuel's work, be sure to check out his book, The Seven Principles of the Magic Rock. And you can refer the show notes along with this episode on your favorite podcast platform. And we hope today's conversation encourages you to reconnect with nature and harness its benefits in both your personal and professional life. So, thanks to everyone for listening to this episode of the Mindful Living podcast, and stay grounded, stay creative, express gratitude to the gifts we have been given with, and keep living mindfully. This is your host, Sana, signing off.